Welcome to a more just and merciful world. I'm Kathy Humphrey, president of Carlow University. On this podcast, we talk to leaders, teachers, artists, scientists, and historians from around the globe to explore how to bring more justice and mercy in our own world. I'm thrilled today we get to talk to a woman who I have always admired what she does and how she does it. Bobbi, welcome. Welcome to Carlow.
Oh, it's so great to be here, Kathy, and to be with you.
Yes, absolutely. So Bobbi is the CEO of United Way here in Pittsburgh. I'm sure that I should use the big title, Southwestern, blah, blah. But everybody knows United Way because United Way is an organization that helps our region in so many amazing ways. And so to have a conversation with you about how we're creating a more just and merciful world is really a treat because I know that's the work you do every single day, which is very exciting. Oh, Bobbi, how did you decide to do this work?
Well, I think it was decided for me.
Okay.
Actually, it's a pretty good story. I had left the nonprofit sector to go back to school
Okay.
down the road at another institution.
That's okay. We love them.
And I was working on a dissertation, and a former colleague called me and said, "We have some research on some community programs we're trying to institute out here in Greensburg. And in your spare time, could you come work with United Way?"
Oh.
And I said yes. And I thought it was going to be just for a short amount of time on a couple of projects. And it ended up being another project and another project.
Oh, my.
And I finished that dissertation and became the COO, the Chief Operating Officer of United Way in Westmoreland County.
Okay.
And then we went through a series of mergers that formed United Way of Southwestern Pennsylvania. So here we are almost 20 years later, and I've held 6 different roles at United Way. And it has been really the honor of my lifetime to work with so many community partners who care first and foremost about creating a region in which everyone has the opportunity to thrive.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. So you could have easily said, I now have this degree. I'm all certified. I could do other things, but you decided to stay with it. Why?
I think I realized about halfway through that program that I missed working in community, that I went back to school thinking that I was going to teach, I was going to stay in higher education and really help the next generation be prepared to work in the nonprofit sector. And I really missed being able to work with community partners in programs that help people meet their basic needs and have better opportunities for economic mobility, to be able to tap into educational opportunities. And I just missed it. And I knew that I had to go back and work in community level nonprofits.
So you said it called you.
Mhm.
And I feel the same way about my work. It calls me every day. I mean, some days, I don't want the call, but most days I want the call. It called you. And I want to talk a little bit about how you know that you're in the right place. Because there's so many people, especially our students, and not only our students, there's so many people who don't land in places that have called them, but land in places that they can do, right? You're skilled at this. I often say, I am a pretty good cook, but I'm not called to it. And I know I'm not called to it because I don't love it, right? I want to do it as fast as I can and out, right? But when you're called to do something, the passion is different. Can you talk to us a little bit about how you know you're called to do it?
I didn't know right away.
Okay.
I've been in the nonprofit sector my entire career, and there was a point at which I thought, well, maybe I should just go try out something else, and interviewed in some of those spaces. And interestingly enough, I didn't get that job in the corporate sector that I thought I really wanted. And the job I got was working in a nonprofit nursing home that was run by the Felician Sisters. And it was one of the most meaningful positions I ever, it was then that I understood that the nonprofit sector was a calling for me. But it took me a while to come around to that. And I've spent my entire career in the sector. And it just became, I just knew at my gut level that, nah, I don't think I need to go interview in the corporate space anymore.
Right.
That this is really where I can make the most difference.
Right. And that's, I think, a huge part of, right? Answering that call is, where can I make a difference with the life that I have to give? So let's talk about the United Way for a few minutes. So I know that, I am a donor to United Way, but there's so many people in our community who are so committed to your work. And I know that I think I just got something in the mail the other day, actually, about all of the successes that you're having and the impact that you're making in the community. What's your favorite program?
That is a very difficult question to answer because we fund multiple programs in the community really focused on helping people meet their basic needs and economic mobility and education, and so they're all critically important. But if I could just maybe rewind to a program that was part of the reason why I ended up at United Way in the first place, and it was a program that serves older adults in the community. And I had the opportunity to go out and volunteer with a group of students one day as a part of this program. And the purpose of us being there was to weed the garden, take care of some house projects that this 80-plus-year-old couple couldn't manage anymore on their own. And we're starting to get our marching orders from this very kind couple. And the wife said very, very shyly, I need help with something else today, and I'm wondering if one of you might be able to do that. And apparently, she had a lot of arthritis in her shoulders and could no longer lift her hands above her head to be able to wash her hair and to put curlers in it. And she asked the group that morning, would one of you be kind enough to help me wash my hair and set it today? And fortunately, one of the students I had with me that day was part of a program at the Career and Technology Center that she was in cosmetology. And she said, I would love to be excused from the gardening to do your hair for you today. This is so-and-so.
Right.
And just the joy that it brought that older adult woman, now this is 15, 16 years ago,
Right.
is one of the most connecting moments to the work. And we have moments like that each and every day through the work that we support at United Way.
Yeah. So when you think about how the United Way is creating a more merciful world, what comes to your mind?
Well, I think I mentioned this before, that we are really committed to improving lives in our region, and to do so by creating opportunity. And we know that opportunity is equally available to everyone in our region. And so United Way is incredibly focused on how do we bring that opportunity to each and every corner of our region that we're serving. And that's central to the work that we're doing and the work that we're funding. So I see a lot of we have a lot of alignment in the work that we're doing.
So I mean, United Way has helped Carlos students, and talk about that.
So we know, and that getting yourself to and through college is a real feat. I'm a first-generation college student in my family, and I will tell you that way back in the day when student loans didn't get immediately and electronically credited to your account, that I landed at the university and my student loans did not. And I was at risk of needing to go back home and fend for myself and not have that opportunity to go to school. So the work that we're doing in partnership with several of our colleges and universities to provide emergency financial assistance to students who are experiencing a car breakdown or utility bill or some other financial challenge that, but for an extra $500, might not be able to continue.
And you know what? Oftentimes people don't think about what a student really needs and what it boils down to. And when you're doing this on your own, or you're first generation, or not even if you're first generation, things happen to families, and sometimes you just need a little bit more support. Oftentimes, I think people think about United Way and they think about children, or they think about senior citizens, but they're not thinking about all the people in between. University students are one of those people that are in between, that I'm grateful for that support, that there's another hand to help us get this really important work done. I often say, you never know when you're going to be the person who needs the assistance. And I can say that in so many ways, for so many reasons. You never know when it's going to be you. And if you don't choose to be a helper in the time that you can, who'll be there to help you in the time that you need to do that help. So when you think about your work and you think about what the general public needs to know in order for us to get better, in order for us to make our region better, what is that? What do we need to do in this region to really create a better region from your lens?
So one of the things that we keep an incredibly close eye on is what we call those individuals who are working, sometimes more than one job, that they are asset limited, income constrained, and employed. And that is a measure that is much more robust than what we typically hear about the poverty guidelines. And what it does is take into consideration what it costs, not just to feed your family, but what does it cost to pay your rent?
Yeah.
What does it cost to pay your utilities, run your car, pay for healthcare, technology? And that measure tells us that 38% of the people who live in Southwestern Pennsylvania, on average, that measure goes up and down depending on exactly where you live, but 38% of people who live in our region are living paycheck to paycheck. They're living beneath the threshold of money that they need to be able to pay to live.
So 38% of the population needs assistance,
Right.
because they're not making enough money to really take care of their families.
That's right. And I think a lot of times we don't understand that people are working. They're trying very hard to make all of the ends meet. And there is one health crisis or a car breakdown that really sends them into crisis. And I think when we talk about the ALICE population in our region, we often find that people are very surprised that so many people are struggling in our region.
Right. Tell them what ALICE means.
Asset limited, income constrained, employed. And these are people who are working very, very hard.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day they're working, right?
And they can't afford the cost of living. And these are the people that we need to. So the singular message of United Way is that how can we create opportunity for people who are struggling to make it through day to day, week to week? And if we can create more opportunity for those individuals, that will create a stronger community all the way around.
Right.
It's better for all of us if we're all thriving.
Right. And I think oftentimes that's another misnomer about United Way. You're only helping the very destitute, right? And that's not true, right? Tell us about some of those people that you know of that you've made a difference in. That tell us some of their stories.
Well, there are a lot of stories. I will
Mhm.
tell you that a lot of folks are not familiar with 211, which
Mhm.
is our 24/7,
Mhm.
365 information and referral system. And so anyone at any time of the day or night can call 211,
Right.
text, chat with us, web self-service, however you want to talk with us, you can get in touch with us.
Right.
And what we hear is really some very difficult stories from people. We've had people call us who are single mothers who are living out of their cars, who are trying to go to a job interview and wondering, is there some place I can take my children while I go to this job interview to see if I can get my life back on track?
Yeah.
We have people who call us who are living, in cars on the street. We have people who don't have heat in their homes because they cannot afford to pay their utility bills, really struggling day in and day out. And we take hundreds of thousands of these calls year over year, day after day.
I just want to put a plug in it. That would be a great volunteer opportunity is to answer the 211 calls.
Well,
Right.
you actually, the folks who answer those calls, as you can imagine, they're hearing
Very note.
they are really hearing some difficult stories and challenging situations. And so, unfortunately, we don't have volunteers who
Oh.
can answer those calls
Okay.
because those folks are really trained on how they can get people connected to the help that they need. However, there are a lot of volunteer opportunities that United Way can connect people with in the community and help you better understand what challenges some of our neighbors are facing.
Yes. I went through a really uh, thought-provoking exercise with United Way with the poverty simulation. And I think that it's an eye opener uh, to uh, to to really experience it. It's really from an intellectual place, but even to connect it with this could, if I were in this situation, how would I manage it? And I was fortunate enough to go through a poverty simulation along with my children. And uh, one of the scenarios were you're going to go to school, but you're not going to have the supplies. So my children had to come home to me in the scenario and say, I need money for my supplies. And I had to say to them, we don't have enough money for your supplies. And so my children were just stunned, right? Like, I need supplies, right? But that's something that they take for granted, right? That some children cannot take for granted because of their situations and their circumstances. So, so one of the things we say at Carlo, and I say this constantly, I say to whom much is given, much is required. Because I want them to graduate knowing that this degree is not just for you. You're getting this degree to make the world better, right? And then the other thing we hope is different here is that our graduates understand that we want you to be more than successful. We want you to play a significant role in our community, right? And I want that nurse, when she goes into that room, I want her to remember that A, she's called to do this, B, that she's compassionate. So we talk about being compassionate to our students in addition to the skills that we give them intellectually, but how we connect that intellectuality to their heart and then to their hands. You guys are doing that work every day, especially with 211. And oftentimes people think that the people who are calling 211 are very different from themselves. Can you tell us about that?
They are not.
Yeah.
They are our neighbors. They are our family members. They are our friends. They are our colleagues that we pass in the corridors of our workplaces. That people who contact 211 are finding themselves, many times, perhaps the first time in need, that something has happened in their lives. A family member is sick and they're no longer able to work. They've had something, a car breakdown, or they've lost a job and they've never been in this situation before.
Right.
And they need a little bit of guidance and connection to resources to get back on course.
Right.
And to be able to understand that these are people who are in our orbit every day.
Right.
They're not someone else.
Right. These are people with and without college degrees. I think people oftentimes don't think about that as well. That's one of the reasons why I said earlier, you never know when it's going to be you, because it can be you. You just need a big enough wind to come through your life in order for the need of that service to exist. Well, I just want to tell you thank you for doing this work. It is life-changing work. And, without the United Way, a lot of people would not have the resources. And quite frankly, it would be a burden on our community, a burden on our city. But because you all are there, because you do this work, and because you are so committed to making a difference, I do believe our region is better. So thank you. Thank you for being with me today.
Thank you, Kathy. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely.